the entryway for me in terms of the spiritual journey has been through the practice of surrender, and your books, your three books, the most recent ones, I've found them really helpful. So thank you for that, first of all. And surrender has been, as a practice, very life-changing, I would say. But I think one thing that's been really surprising is the energetic quality of that practice. And I found that it kind of releases a lot of energy within my body and a lot of energy out of my head. I don't know what that means, what to do with it, if I should do anything about that. But also, I think one thing that I've realized is that the deeper I go into this practice, the more nuanced this practice of surrender becomes, the more I feel almost like the part of me that wants to control, that wants to be in control, is kind of like at the other side of it, sort of reasserting itself. So it's almost like these two sides. Like on the one hand, I feel like my practice is deepening and becoming more and more nuanced. But on the other hand, sometimes it sort of oscillates, and I feel like this really strong kind of urge, almost like an aggressive urge to kind of just take control of the whole process. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
It does make sense, yes. The journey or practice or willingness to surrender highlights, this is when you said it becomes more nuanced. It does, because it highlights the core structure of the sense of being a separate self, which then highlights the need for control or the attempt for control, the unexamined core belief that the self is at the center of life, having an experience of life or my life. It's that center that comes undone in awakening. But initially, it just becomes highlighted. So there's nothing wrong. This is absolutely right. You're going deeper. You're going deeper. Because surrender initially starts on the surface layers of self and eventually reveals this core. It's like the main pin that holds it all together, that holds the construct of self together. So you're coming close to the main pin. And as you come close to the main pin, it may seem that there's a conflict. It may seem that there's a battle going on. And on some levels, there is. But here you're invited to an even deeper level of surrender, which is simply not knowing, not doing anything, not entering the battle, not even having a narrative about it. It's a more subtle, energetic falling open. Now you can't force it, and you may circle around it for some time, and that's okay. That's enough. It'll come undone by itself, if you like. Yeah, we can practice surrender. We can practice inquiry, looking within. This is where the personal self has a certain volition. Otherwise, or a choice, we could say. Otherwise, nothing changes. We just live an unconscious life. That's where we feel like we have some degree of direction. You may say even control in that surrender itself. I choose to surrender, and so on. But at this point, when you get this close to the main pin, the self can't do anything. And that's where, if you like, we could call it grace at that point. What you do have some volition in is to simply be very, very soft, even with this, with this that wants to hold on, and allow and wait and have no ulterior motive, have no agenda with it. Because surrender ultimately is the undoing of all agenda.